It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hi, guys. Welcome back and happy Monday, which means hot, messy topics day. All right, guys, I see that Murray kicked us off with a super chat. Thank you, Murray. We love and appreciate you. And I hope all of you guys are having the best holidays ever. It's been wild. We just had my brother in town and his girlfriend, and now we're about to have Jason's mom come in town. So it's just my favorite time of the year, except yesterday I went to go Christmas shopping. I went to the mall. I went to a few other places, and I just get like the worst anxiety when it comes to Christmas shopping. It puts me in like such a weird mood because I'm the worst gift giver ever. So sorry, Jason. With that, guys, we also have a new podcast episode coming out tomorrow, and Jason put it in the live chat, but we have the audio version anywhere you get your podcast. That's going to be with Kimpire. He's our special guest. What a fun conversation. And of course, on top of that, we have the video version that will be playing tomorrow as well. Now, let's welcome Jason.
Hi.
Good morning.
Happy Monday, everyone, and happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, happy everything.
Happy everything. Oh my gosh. Listen, I have to say, and you know this, I am the worst person at buying gifts. First of all, I always wait till last minute. And then on top of that, I never know what to get anyone. I was looking at Andy Cohen did a holiday gift guide, and I was like, oh, what does Andy give people? And he's like an Amazon Echo Dot and a stroller. I'm like, well,
yeah, no, thank you to both. But
yeah.
Yeah. I hope you didn't follow what Andy Cohen is getting. He probably needs to work on some of the shows, though. That's what he should.
Give us the gift of Housewives.
You know, there is that rumor that New Orleans is filming Housewives. But I don't know if that's true, but that would be a nice gift.
I don't know if that's true either, but that could be interesting. I mean, listen, New Orleans is, Stassi always talked about it when I worked with her at SUR, and she always said that New Orleans, because that's where she's from, is like the best city ever. And then we saw them go on the show to New Orleans, and I had the best time in New Orleans. We were going on a cruise. It was my entire family, and it was right before I met Jason, and we went on a Carnival cruise, something that like everybody could afford because there was like 28 of us. And when we did, we went out of, I believe it was No, we went out of New Orleans.
Probably. Was it New Orleans?
Yeah, we went out of New Orleans because that night when we got back, me and my sister and brothers, we were like, hey, let's go out in New Orleans. I think I was like 19 years old. And we ended up finding ourselves at a gay bar. And I stripped down to my underwear. I was dancing on top of the stage, trying to win a free bar tab. And lo and behold.
But no one knew, guys. No one knew.
No one knew.
Adam was gay.
But please. I won the bar tab.
Oh, that's good. I mean, it's worth it. Then it becomes worth it.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
My family was happy.
Was it Austin who said that? Who said that we need another Southern franchise? We do need another Southern franchise. I agree.
Yeah.
I think that would be really great. I mean, we don't have, everyone's like, well, what are we going to keep doing? Adding on like another franchise, another Housewives franchise, but we don't have Dallas anymore. You know, I think by putting out the Real Housewives of Durban, that has been doing pretty okay. I mean, I know that's like kind of a franchised out version of the Real Housewives, but there is room for another.
Yeah. And on top of that, I think that it's not really about the quantity of the franchises. Like right now, Salt Lake City is not pulling in the ratings, but like Potomac is killing it. So I think it just depends who the ladies are on the show. However, at the end of the day, too, it always takes it always takes a minute too to get introduced and acquainted with the ladies, because some people were like talking shit about Real Housewives of Dubai, and I thought that they had a great first season, but we still have to get to know them. So
yeah, Austin says too. Whoever Austin is, this is funny because I think I was doing like a poll in Hot Messy, or maybe I did a poll on your channel. I don't know what it was, but we were talking about this, and like, what do you call it? Because it's like Roni. We're gonna say Rono. That's so funny. If it was New Orleans, it'd be Rono.
Yeah, or it'd be Rinola.
Rinola. Oh, Rinola. I like that too.
Yeah,
okay.
Rinola.
I like that. You got to put Nola in there, I feel like.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, we have Real Housewives of Potomac to talk about. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk about a little bit of this Beverly Hills-ish, because we know that Erika Girardi, whatever you want to call it, the pretty mess, the hot mess, whatever mess you want to call her. Well, she fought so hard to keep those diamond earrings, and obviously they were auctioned off. Now, Ronald Richards went on and he was talking about how he's going to buy the earrings, and we were pretty sure that he actually did not buy the earrings. However, his wife decided to throw a little bit of shade towards Erica and decided to post her with the earrings on. This was the post. I now see why you fought for these at the Pretty Mess. She tagged her in everything. They are stunning. Should I have Girardi removed? Hashtag Girardi fraud, hashtag diamond earrings. And also at So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. Ryan Bailey, how did you find yourself in this hot mess?
I don't know. That's great. Great advertisement. God, this is crazy. Can you imagine living your life so obsessed with two other people and trying to be those two other people? That's crazy.
Do you feel like they're obsessed?
Yeah. Definitely.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
I want to ask in the live chat, do you guys feel like this has become an unhealthy obsession of Ronald and his wife? I think what happened, I feel like this is a power move. Like Erica and his wife, Lauren, have gone back and forth multiple times on social media. She said some really nasty things to Erica. Erica has said some really nasty things to her. And we all know when you go on Twitter and you fight with people, it's just like going down the freaking rabbit hole. And it's the hardest thing to get yourself out of because it just comes and goes, comes and goes.
Hey, listen, I hope Lauren knows what is happening in that Richards law firm. That's all I have to say. Because, you know, when those earrings need to be sold again, who knows?
No, you can't say that. And honestly, I don't think that Ronald Richards would be silly enough to pull a Girardi move because he's putting himself all over this case. And if he had skeletons in his closet like that, you would think that when people like, and that's the thing, sometimes you never know. I'm not alluding or saying, you know, that Ronald Richards has any skeletons in his closet. I don't know Ronald.
No,
Richards.
I'm not saying that either, but most lawyers in general, are pretty skeezy. So I think it's going to be kind of interesting to.
That's a very general, I don't know, blanket statement.
It's a pretty blanket statement. Find a good lawyer. Pass them to me, please. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've met like one out of the 5-10 I've had to deal with in my life.
Phaedra Parks, where are you?
Hey, Phaedra,
and embalm you.
We need you. There we go.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay, but no, I don't know if it's I don't know what this is, or if it's an unhealthy obsession or just a power move, because. Well, one, they were $250,000, plus they had to pay the fees. So they paid over $300,000 for these earrings. He did hint at one time that he was going to buy their house. That never happened. So now, here we go. His wife gets to walk around with the notorious Girardi diamonds.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. Emily D. Baker, the best lawyer. Yes.
Emily D. Baker is more than a lawyer, though. She is, she's the best of the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best of the best.
All right. Let's keep it moving, guys. There was another thing that came out, and I wanted to talk about this a little bit because they're hinting that we might get a former Real Housewife of Beverly Hills joining the cast, and they're going to start filming in January. When they do, I'm curious who it will be, and I didn't really think it would be Denise Richards. However, she didn't do anything to get herself kicked off the show. Like, she decided to leave the show on her own free will. She had a 4-year contract. I believe she only completed 2 of those 4 years, but she still showed up to the reunion. So she completed and committed to all of her
Did it need to be consecutive 4 years, or instead are they like, hey, you still have 2 more years you owe us? So just FYI, if you want to come back, now's a great time.
I don't think that they would bring her back because I think that she was too much of a headache with the bravo, bravo, king bravo. And she would be like,
you think that was just like a learning curve? It was like, okay, it's a learning curve, right? Like, I'm new to this. I'm used to being in the movies and stuff like, well, no, she's not new to reality TV. She had that whole show. But like, you think she was new to the Housewives world? And yes, and that, you know, she's trying to also, like she did on her show, control the narrative, which is uncontrollable on the Housewives, even if you try to control it.
Yeah. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but is Denise Richards somebody that you would want back? If you got to pick Denise Richards, Brandi Glanville, or Kyle or Kim Richards, who would you pick to bring back?
Probably Brandi, because I know she would stir some shit, and I think that would be what the franchise would need. I still want Lisa Vanderpump back, so that's where I sit with that.
I don't think LVP will ever come back. I think that everybody will come back.
We need okay. I mean, speaking of Beverly Hills, though, like who is going to be the cast that we would bring an old housewife back to? Do you know what I mean? We need to figure out what the cast is going to be like first before you bring, like, you know, make that decision. Are we keeping Kathy and Lisa Rinna together? Is that going to happen? Are we dumping Diana Jenkins, which I'm pretty sure that's already confirmed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Diana Jenkins is out.
Okay, great. So you can keep the cast, demote Dorit, demote Crystal, bring back Denise and Brandi.
Yeah, because I think Honestly, or bring back Brandy and Kim. Because if they're going to keep... Kathy Hilton originally told TMZ that she would not film with these two bullies. And then she said that she had a great conversation with Lisa Rinna at the People's Choice Awards. And then she said she was making a wreath for Lisa Rinna, Sutton, and Garcelle. So she was... and Rihanna. So it seems like they got to a better place. Lisa
And
Rinna said that they
Rihanna.
had a lovely conversation. It's so wild. And now it almost has you wondering, like, were you ladies behind all of this to begin with?
Yes, that's my conspiracy. And I'm not into conspiracy theories, but I really do think there is some like closed door, behind the door, secret chats that happen. And I mean, like, you can't even have those chats over social media or text message, no iMessage. You have to go to a speakeasy, and it has to be in someone's house, lock the door, go into your panic room, and discuss how the season is going to go. I mean, look at all this chaos, right? I mean, I know Kathy was called many things, a racist, a homophobe, everything like that. But are we talking about Kathy Hilton, the Hiltons? Yes. Are we talking about Kyle Richards and Mauricio? Yes. Are we talking about Paris Hilton? Yes. Now Lisa Rinna is booking film roles because you're front and center. No one really is going into the details of how things happened. Your name is just out there, and that is entertainment. And I really feel like it's a big plot. It was a big conspiracy.
Okay.
Kathy and Lisa are like sitting there like, what should we do to make this crazy? Something no one can see, no one will know about, and we can just say, she said, she said.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, and then of course you start bringing it to the group and you're like, I had to talk about it because she's the devil and I could have gotten cancer. It's like, holy where this just went
that was
so
no.
left.
That was a no, but you can't control those lips.
Right. You can't control her. But no, honestly, I think that Crystal Kung-Minkoff will be demoted. I feel like Dorit will probably be demoted. I think that Diana Jenkins for sure will be out. And I think they should bring back Brandy and Kim because Brandy is friends with everybody. Kim Richards would want to eat Lisa Rinna alive for the way that she handled everything with Kathy and talked about her family. We know how Kim Richards is about the family. I don't know if it would be the healthiest thing for her, but I think that it would be an absolute shit show.
No, and then what if Lisa and Kathy get to this great place, and then Kim comes in wanting to tear Lisa apart? I mean, this could just get wild. So maybe I'm okay with the Kim thing. As long, I want to see the drama. I want to see that Beverly Hills flair. I just don't want it to be as dark and toxic as it has been for the past 2 seasons.
Yeah. I mean,
who I forgot about? Erica. Demote her to a friend.
I mean, I don't really know at this point what there's left to, like, what else can we really talk about when it comes to Erica? We know that she's still navigating the $25 million lawsuit. She said she can't pay her IRS tax bill. She lost her earring. She's still going to be fighting. There's still going to be Page 6 articles. It's going to be one thing after another. But unless she starts like showing us the men that she's dating, or she starts talking about more openly about her personal life and things that are happening, not just Tom Girardi's storyline, I really don't know why we are going to continue to have her on the show, because I think it would be more interesting, and we're going to get into Potomac, but like if we separated Gizelle and Robyn, Teddy Mellencamp even said we need to separate Erica and Lisa Rinna, and I completely agree with that.
Hey, I'm a flip-flopper on Erica. Would I want to continue her story and see where she goes? Sure, but do I really care? Like, we were just talking about this whole Brandy and Kim coming back, and what's going to happen with Lisa and Kathy. I'm kind of over the Erica thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean,
but next week I might feel differently. I'm a flip-flopper.
Exactly.
Like Kyle Richards.
Exactly. All right, guys. On top of that, I wanted to talk a little bit about this because we have Jen Shah, and we know Jen Shah was talking about potentially she was disinvited to the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. They just filmed the reunion, but last minute they asked her to actually attend. They said, listen, we want to share your side of the story. We want you to attend. However, she spoke with her attorneys, and her attorneys said, if you attend this reunion, we cannot talk about the legal aspects of anything because as of right now, you still have yet to be sentenced. So that is out. Now, some people are saying, well, the reunion wouldn't even air until after, and it doesn't matter. And it's not like she would already be sentenced by then.
That was my initial thought, but things leak all the time. So whatever she says there, or anyone hears, or it gets out, then that will be used against her in the sentencing.
Right. And you don't know, like, what if the court subpoenas that? And on top of that, what if the sentencing gets pushed back again and the reunion plays before she actually gets sentenced? Like, there are so many things that could happen and that could change on like in like the blink of an eye that it doesn't necessarily, I don't know, for me, I would be way too afraid to go on there and talk about this stuff. Now we're hearing that Andy Cohen wants a potential one-on-one. Who knows if she'll actually give it to them? But no, we can confirm that she absolutely did not attend the reunion. And it makes me question what would the reunion be like without her being at the center of most of the drama? Was it a snooze fest? You know what I mean?
Yes. I mean, like how many, I'm trying to think of like, how many parts? Maybe we can just, because wasn't Salt Lake City the first one with 4 parts, if I'm not mistaken? I think we were.
Yeah.
And then Beverly Hills, and I don't know, someone else did 4 parts, right?
No,
Or
I
did
think
Beverly Hills do
Atlanta was the
3?
first.
Okay, well, this was 4 parts, Salt Lake City. I remember it, and it was like it was better than the entire season. Remember? Was
Right.
that the second season that had 4
No, it
parts?
wasn't the second season
First?
because Mary Cosby was out.
Right, right. So yeah, so you had that. That was great. What are you gonna do now? You're gonna have Dana and Angie K come in, potentially Angie Harrington if she shows up this season. Like, like what's gonna fill the room in the space? I'm not really quite sure because the whole season really has been kind of focusing on one thing.
I feel like it would be like Whitney and Heather talking about a friendship break. Lisa Barlow, I don't really know what her storyline is. Angie K, her storyline revolves around Jen Shaw. Dana's storyline is going to revolve around Jen Shaw. I don't actually know what they would have to talk, and I don't think that they can necessarily.
They should just skip it.
About her.
Let's just do like a 30-minute. Do Watch What Happens Live. Do like a below deck reunion for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Have them sit in the chairs, or zoom in really quick for 30 minutes, play games, make it a fun Watch What Happens Live. I don't know if we're gonna get a full like a reunion.
Yeah,
I think.
Lori said 1 episode reunion, and then somebody said, Velda said that Jen wouldn't be bright enough to say, I can't speak on it. But the thing is she has to go in here. Like they tell her right out of the gate, the women get different packages and they know the things that they're going to discuss and they get prepped. They're like, okay, this is what we're going into. It's boom, 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 boom. By 1:30, we're going to talk about your legal issues. By 4:00, we need to start wrapping this up. And then they get an idea, a good sense of like what is actually going to happen at the reunion. So if she said to them, I can't talk about any of the legal, and they say to her, well, okay, that's a problem. I could see why she'd be like, okay, if that's a problem, well, then I'm good. I don't need to be here.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm
worried. I'm worried. There is that rumor going around about Mary Cosby potentially just calling into the reunion on video.
She's not going to call in.
I'm like, where are we getting this from? Like, she's busy. She's busy. She has a closed church and she's in hiding. So I don't know where Mary Cosby is.
I don't think her church is closed anymore.
Oh, yeah, it's back open?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I love Meredith. Like, have great conversations with Whitney. Lisa was super sweet to me. But I don't that doesn't mean that I feel like we have a great show. Like, I don't really know what the main drama in this situation would be. I don't think it's going to be that interesting.
I think we could see Whitney and Heather step it up next season for sure. I think that would be great. And I'm talking next season. I'm not talking about the reunion. I feel like Angie K would be a good addition. Wait. Where's that photo?
Oh.
Yeah. Meredith is fun to watch. Like, I love watching her. I like her family. Angie Harrington, I don't know. Dana, I don't really care for. This is a bad casting call. I don't know. Like, you'd have to put someone else in there. Like, remove Dana out of the middle. Put another cast member, someone who lives in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I mean, but also too with Meredith, one of the things that I said that I've been enjoying when it comes to her is watching her on the show. Her give a damn is just so broken. Like, she does not care. She's not trying to put on for the cameras. She's just like, okay, I'm here.
I think that's what makes it interesting because that's authentic.
Yeah.
That's like, it's fun to watch.
Well, as opposed to like a Noella Birchner who was just pre-producing the shit out of a show.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's get into the Real Housewives of Potomac. Of it all.
Potomac, I have my Grand Dame shirt on.
You have your Grand Dame shirt on. You never mix businesses as the Grand Dame.
Listen, this was a gift from the Grand Dame herself, so I know it was for me and not you.
Okay.
So
Jason needs all the praise today. All the praise for Jason.
All the praise. Oh,
guys,
Potomac.
I want to hear what your thoughts are on last night's episode of Potomac. What would you rate it 1 to 10? Jason, we're going to start with you.
I enjoyed it. I just a solid 8.
Okay. I think I would give it like a 7.5. There were some moments. Like, for example, we get a reasonably shady live podcast.
Which I'm going to give a 2.
Yeah. It looked so bad. So I
Lord
don't
have
know how the
mercy.
hell. I mean, one, I would never like the goal to take a room that seats 400 people. You should never do that. Like, unless you are confident that you're going to sell 400 tickets, like that was just who advertised this? They had no
I don't know.
sponsors.
It was the sponsors. It's the thing, this takes me back to Spilling Tea Live, which was, I mean, you guys were like kind of the first to do that right out the door of the pandemic and everything. And I just remember, and I guess our heads were where Karen's head is. If she does an event, okay, it's going to be similar to, I think, the one that we put on, which was a party before the show, a
Right.
great show, drinks after the show. It's entertaining. Like, do you remember that when we were all sitting there in LA talking about the entrance, who's coming from where, and you have like Giselle's just strolling down the aisle? I was like, what is going on here? And then nothing was really planned. You didn't do a sound check, no sound check before. So you didn't know if your mic was on. You didn't know if it was working.
But hold
I don't
on,
know.
wait, because in LA we did a sound check right before, and then when who was it?
Me.
Jeff Epstein, he went up and his mic
Ah,
didn't work, and he was like, "Oh shit, your mic didn't work." And then when I walked up, my mic didn't work, and we literally sat in the room before it even filled up. We
so
sat there for
different
like
though.
20 minutes.
So different because we had 8 mics. We had
Yeah.
8 mics and a lot of guests. You know what I mean? So I felt like that's a whole different ballgame. You had two people
I mean,
who needed a mic, and then maybe a handheld for whoever came up. You know what I mean? But that just wasn't it. Karen did say, like, okay, in her what not to do book, she was like, okay, no drunk host. I didn't think the host was drunk. I think he was a comedian trying to make a joke that didn't land. When he
yeah.
was like, Robyn Bryant, and oh, that's not their name. I used to date a Robyn Bryant. That's not funny. So maybe
Yeah.
get a comedian. You know what I mean?
Like Jolene Lunzer killed it.
Jolene was one of the openers for the show. People were crying at
Yeah.
Spilling Tea. Like, they were crying, laughing because she is so funny.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I mean,
it's okay.
and
If
then
you need production help, I have a fee, but I will definitely help out.
I have a question for you. In honor of our Reasonably Shady podcast hosts, Gizelle and Robyn Bryant,
Okay.
do you think that it was reasonable for them to charge people for this show, or do you think it was shady?
No, that needed to be a suggested donation. That's what they should have done.
A suggested donation.
Suggested
Okay.
donation. You walk into not even a step and repeat. It's just like, it's kind of a step and repeat. Was that a step and repeat? I have no idea what that was.
Yeah,
They're
I mean,
photos.
it was kind of
Nothing was really like cohesive. It wasn't like coming to like a live podcast show. You think of like Stassi's show or Lala or even Sheena's show. Like, those all were good. Or Page Six just did a live show. That was also like, it was produced. It was like pretty well done. There was no planning. No planning.
And-
You're just coming to watch a podcast episode on stage, play a few games. I wonder how long it lasted.
Yeah. And on top of it too, like the TikTok dancing and stuff like that, like the way that we structured our show, especially in LA, we started out with 2 comedians. First, we started with you as the host. We had music for every single entrance of every person. Then we had 2 comedians come out. And then we came up, we did our bit. After that, we welcomed up to the stage Sheena and Brock. Then we had a little bit more of a bit. And then we welcomed up the Toms and we ended off the show. Our show lasted about almost 2 hours, which was kind of, overboard.
I mean, LA was kind of long, but people were enjoying it. And then we shortened it in Nashville. But also, like, you guys got sponsors. Like, Zach and you worked your asses off to get those sponsors. And you didn't come out of pocket $10,000.
Yeah.
To only earn what did they earn? 14,000. Where did that money come from? From just those people in the first 3 rows?
It makes me wonder what they were charging for the live show. But then Karen is trying to put on a show too, and she's talking about it, and she's like, I'm going to put on a show that is just like an experience. You have the dancers come in, you have the people come in, you have drag queens, and then I'm going to do a bit, and we're going to do a toast, and then after the toast, we're going to have some live Q&A, and then after that, we're going to have another drag queen come out. But I do have to say, it's not totally a Karen Huger show. Like, the whole show's not about her. However, at the end of the day, it's still a show. Like, it still kind of gets me a little bit more excited, but
It's something you want to be at, right?
Right.
It's and it's an experience, and it's not just you're going to go to some random theater and sit down. Listen, I'm really picking on their show, but I do have to say it is very, very difficult to do a live show, no matter who you are. Okay, so it's very difficult to do a live show. It's very difficult to promote, get people in the seats. So I don't know. There was room for the cameras, and I think that's exactly what.
That's what they needed. They needed a story. They needed to add to the storyline.
Yeah.
Now, do you think it's reasonable or do you think it's shady that Karen has now taken, I think this is the third business of one of the women's. She took the candle. She took the perfumes. Okay.
Okay.
And now she took the podcast live show. Do you think that's reasonable of her to
reasonable?
Something
Everyone's doing a damn live show. Every housewife is, every podcaster is, every YouTuber, like everyone's doing live shows. Page 6 just did a show, like everyone's doing live. And I think that every housewife brings a different experience, brings a different flair to their show. So yeah, I think that's completely reasonable for Karen to do. And I think that she might be able to get away with charging even more.
Yeah, and I also think too, I mean, Karen was smart in the sense that her venue looked a lot smaller. It kind of reminded me of the drag venue that we went to in Salt Lake City.
Oh, yeah.
A lot
That's
more
great.
intimate,
it's more intimate.
Which makes it look like the room is a lot more full, which is great. But then I was kind of shocked, like watching Gizelle and Robyn get nervous about going up on the stage and doing this live podcast. Because I'm like, wait, you guys are housewives. You have cameras in your face all the time. And it made me, I could resonate with that because when we were getting ready to go up on the first live show in LA, we were sitting there getting ready to go on. Jason was having tequila shots. And I was like, No,
I was having whiskey shots because that was Tom Schwartz's bad. Trying to tempt me into drinking his bourbon or whiskey or whatever they have.
I think my stomach sank into my ass. Because I was like freaking out. I was like, I can't do it. You're like, get your ass on the stage.
You were both freaking out. It was crazy.
Yeah.
The
music started playing and then I was
I could see maybe Robyn because she's more quiet. She gives me that more kind of, very, what is that called when you to yourself? Why am I losing my words today? Anyway, she's very kind of, to herself. But like Gizelle, like if you saw Gizelle at BravoCon walk out, she owned the room. She was like, I am here. I am Gizelle.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, Robyn Bryant was actually that was actually pretty funny because she really is like, she kind of lives in Giselle's little shadow over there. But
yeah.
Okay. All right.
It would be fun. Like I have to agree, and I can't believe I'm going to put agree and Teddy Mellencamp in the same sentence, but I do agree. They need to split up a little bit. We need to not see Gizelle and Robyn like kind of up each other's ass.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Honestly, I mean, I think it's too much at this point, but I do like seeing Gizelle and Karen come together. And these two are they are shade masters. First of all, Karen, it's her first time seeing the house now that it's done. And Giselle's like wanting to impress her, you can tell. And she walks in and she's like, I like it, Gizelle. And she's like, you do? She's like, yeah. And then
Karen's confessionals are getting they've always been good, but they're like good. Really, really shady this season. And I love when they said, the producers asked her, what did you really like? Or did you really like Giselle's renovation? And she's like, I like that chandelier in the front. And she goes, Jesus. And I was like, you were killing me. You were killing me with the shade. It is so funny. But what I love to see is the star of the show when it comes to Gizelle is always her daughters. And I love Karen's kind of relationship with those daughters, like really are the glue for Gizelle. They really are. But I do miss mom. Yeah, no, 100%. She's a great mom. But I do miss Karen and Gizelle kind of being together a little bit. I hope, I like those shady bitches together.
Okay. Peaches and Cream. Well, I'm happy that Cynthia Bailey will be coming back to the Real Housewives of Atlanta as a friend of. Yes, she has been filming with them. I'm super excited to see that too, because I think now we thought her chapter closed, and I know that we're flip-flopping a little bit, but we thought her chapter closed because she got married. She moved on. She moved to LA, Porter Ranch, but she moved to LA and we were like, okay, now you're closing this chapter. However, now that she's newly single again, I'm like, just add her in the mix. Who cares?
Just put her back in. Yeah.
Is Candace gone from a Real Housewives of Potomac? She absolutely is not. Speaking of which, I wanted to bring up a blind item for you guys before we continue on the Potomac. There was something that came out from Dumois that said, okay, in plain sight, this former housewife fave or favorite to hate is in an open marriage. I was hooking up with her hubby for a few months off and on.
Oh, fave? You're not like
fave to hate.
saying that could possibly be Candace. I don't think that's true.
No, they said former housewife.
Oh, okay,
I think it's either Portia Williams or it's Denise Richards.
I don't know. You know, I hate blind items.
I hate blind items too, but then they have me guessing, and I have
here. Let me email Dumois really quick. What should we say? I think Adam actually has red hair. Like what? Like come on. Like who cares? Like a blind item. I don't know if they really matter.
I always believe them.
No.
Okay.
I like receipts.
Okay. Well, speaking of open marriages, we have another person who we saw that was kind of like in an open marriage situation, and that would be Mia Thornton. And Mia is talking about how her relationship with her husband, yes, they welcome in other people, and her best friend Jacqueline, who she introduced to the show, well, she said that she looked at her lady parts with a flashlight, which is...
Yeah, I think this storyline or what's being pushed here, first of all, I don't think Mia should really open up like that on national television and just kind of reveal all. But when you do reveal anything to Gizelle, it's going everywhere with a loudspeaker, kind of like Karen said. You know, if you talk too much to Gizelle, it's going everywhere. But I don't care. Like when I'm watching the show and we talk about like, oh, did Jacqueline sleep with G? Was the other man that you did something with or whatever, is it Peter? I don't care. I don't care about Peter. I don't care about your sexual relationship.
Do you not like Mia on the show? You can leave her.
I don't know. I don't know. I want to say I could leave her, but she gives that phoniness that it's just like, it's great. I mean, to compete with the shady, she gives phony. And I just don't care about Jacqueline. I don't care about the relationship and if that happened or if that happened. And we all need to sit down and talk about, do you share, Jacqueline, or have you watched her? Or have you, who cares?
I mean, and
where's Charisse this episode?
Yeah, well, Charisse was hiding in the background. Charisse, I think, thought she was making a comeback, and she still got some intro photos, like looks for the cast and stuff. But she's obviously still like, she didn't make enough of an impact to get back onto the show fully. But we haven't seen, there's more to come from Charisse. So we're going to have to wait and see how
there is more to come to Charisse. And I do kind of like how it puts a little fire under Karen's ass. I think that's great for the show. Is she interesting enough? I don't know. I would probably at this point prefer like Charisse coming on the show than Jacqueline. If Jacqueline's like hoo-ha is the storyline of Jacqueline being on the show this season, I just don't care.
And the way that Mia said, and I know that you don't care about Mia or Jacqueline, but the way that she said, like I would be a bad friend if my friend doesn't roll up in a Porsche too. Like it did. I agreed with Gizelle. It kind of did sound like Mia was saying her and her husband bought Jacqueline her Porsche. And she said, listen, her name's on it. And I'm like, when she was being asked, so did you buy her the car? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. There are people who buy their housekeepers, their nannies' cars. They buy their parents' cars. They buy their kids' cars. So why not buy your friend a car if you're, inspecting her hoo-ha? Like, I guess that's just the next, like, hey, if you're going to inspect my hoo-ha with a flashlight, then I'm going to buy you a Porsche.
I don't know. I don't care.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's cringe.
I don't care. I really want to see what Charisse is up to with Karen this season. Okay, two things. I cannot wait till Ashley gets a damn house. I'm so sick of that condo that they live in, that they share. I find it like messy and just really not my type. I'm really, really, really ready for her to get a house.
I think it's going to be great for her to get a house. I just don't think that she should get a house with Michael Darby. And I think that she should take that attorney's advice. Yeah. Take the attorney's advice, because if you get a house with him, he might still have some element of control. I don't know why she needs 5 bedrooms, but she has 2 kids plus herself, plus a guest bedroom, and maybe one's a closet.
Plus Luke. Yeah.
Well, and then there's that. Then there's the Luke of it all. I saw a meme where somebody said, this is where I started, and it was Michael Darby, and this is where I ended, and it was Luke. And I was like, ooh, this is like, love to see women winning.
They are still spotted out together. So I find that really interesting. I wonder if that's going to be anything ever.
Yeah. And then on top of that too, Candace Diller-Bassett, she did her music video with Trina. I thought that was great. And like she said, it's
Night
totally
and day
different...
from. Oh,
Yes.
sorry. I'm like
no,
talking
it's a
over you.
totally different budget. You could tell, but the record label paid for it, and they did say that.
Well, I mean, that's the difference of being independent and trying to do things on your own and proving yourself. And like Candace said, she really is trying to step out, especially as a housewife, and be taken seriously as an artist. Out of all of the housewives who have music careers besides Candy, Candace is definitely, that's very attainable because like I liked her album a lot.
Don't forget about this one.
Don't bring up Kim or, oh. Those are catchy. Those are like Britney Spears, right? Like there's a difference between like a Britney Spears performance and let's say like a Lady Gaga performance, you know, or like, let me try to think of another comparison, but no, Candace can like sing and she can perform. Erica couldn't really do much of any of those
Pat
two.
the puss. Pat the
Yeah, but they're catchy. They're catchy. And we had those playing at the show at Spilling Tea Live and it was great. Those were great.
True. That's true. Hopefully for every play, we give $1 back to the victims. Okay.
Probably not. But
okay,
yeah.
probably not. Now,
wishful thinking.
I did want to add on to that too. At the end of this episode, we see this woman come into the mix who Candace likened her to a Sesame Street character. She had some eyebrows. She had some interesting eyebrows, but this woman comes into the mix and she comes to the table and she starts to talk about Chris Bassett and how Chris was allegedly coming on to her and all of these things. Shady as hell. They invite the woman, which reminded me of the cookie woman from Real Housewives of Atlanta, but they invite the woman into the mix at Karen's live show, and they tell Candace that the woman wants to talk to her. And Candace is there with her mom, and you know Candace's mom doesn't put up with shit. And now we have this awkward dynamic where obviously Candace is not going to want to talk to this woman, and she knows exactly what the women are trying to do by bringing her into the mix. Chris Bassett is not catching a break this season.
No, it really does seem, it doesn't seem very like, it's so weird that we're saying this, but like it doesn't seem very, it feels like they have a target on their back just a little bit, you know, especially from with Gizelle starting that at the beginning of the season, which come on, you guys know each other better. I don't really believe all of Gizelle's stories. But then like you're trying to make him a Michael Darby of it all.
Right. And you know who's smart out of all of this?
They went after Ray. You know what I mean? They went after Ray. They went after G. They're going to go after the husbands. The husbands are not safe on this show.
No. And Juan Dixon, he's always like, I want out of it. Leave me out of this. I don't want you to talk about anything. Like, I think the husbands really enjoyed having Michael Darby on the show because it was just such an easy, like, don't play with my name. Go over there. You want to play with somebody's name? Like Candace said, go over there. Michael Darby is clocked in over there. Go check him out because he definitely has something that we can talk about. He always is getting caught in something. He gets caught in his underwear, caught in a hotel, caught in the UK.
Yeah, and Gizelle needs to sit down. Like, too, with all this stuff. Do you remember Sherman and all the rumors about him? Come on.
And
please.
The pastor.
And I mean, you can't really. I mean, she doesn't have a great track record.
Yeah, you can't even mention him because from the rumor is that he'll send out tons of cease and desist and stuff, and he will make sure that you are not throwing mud on his name. So
cute.
Yeah, we're not going to mention him. But I don't believe the Chris story. I don't either, honestly. Those eyebrows gave me a jump scare. Tess, you are shady as hell.
When in the past, and this is to when in the past has Chris given you any reason to believe that?
And not
Michael Darby? Okay.
I think that people, like, even if you're in a committed relationship and you have maybe like one of the most beautiful wives or the most beautiful, you know, like some people still cheat. And I get that because we've seen it before, but I just don't see Chris trying to cheat on Candace with any of these ladies or with the eyebrow lady. No. I just don't see that. And I don't think
unless he has really bad taste.
Yeah. And I also feel like Chris is like, he doesn't come off like a stupid guy, you know, because a stupid person would try to cheat on your wife within the same cast group that she is a part of, knowing that anything that you say and do will be used and held against you. And it's going to be weaponized, and nobody is quiet in this group. If you flirt with one of these women and you're a husband to another one, these women they have a storyline next season. It's going to be like, oh my gosh, I felt so, like I felt like this was invasive and I felt like appalled and I couldn't believe it. And I was backed into a corner and your husband needs to be held accountable and we can't be friends anymore. They can make this last like 20 episodes.
I mean, we saw it full force last season with G when he got a little in Karen's face. You know what I mean? Let's talk about that. Chris Bassett hasn't given us a reason to believe that.
Yeah, he's not licking his lips at the women.
And hey, Karen, like that's not happening.
Yeah.
You don't see, and then Giselle's sitting up there. Chris, they walked by me and they came into the same room as me. It's like, girl, please cry wolf somewhere else.
Yeah, we're not buying it. We're not buying
it.
All right.
No.
Chris doesn't want the wrath of Candace. I don't think, first of all, I've been on the receiving end of that wrath and you don't.
No
So
one does.
Imagine...
Sorry, go ahead. We both had so much coffee today that like I just feel like I want to talk.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I was gonna.
Go ahead.
I was gonna drink my coffee.
No, go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say is, what do you think about the whole infidelity clause? Since we're speaking of cheating, the infidelity clause in this prenup that seems to be taking a very long time to get done. Our prenup took a day.
Yeah, you know what I think it is I think I was always under the impression that Juan had cheated on Robyn in the past. I didn't realize that they broke up because now the story changed in this episode. Now they broke up and he was seeing another woman during their breakup. But once you break up, you're broken up, right? Some people look at it like until your marriage or your divorce is finalized, you really shouldn't date people. Like everybody has an opinion, but nobody wrote the perfect book on how to get divorced, right? So people still end up, start dating other people once they emotionally detach themselves. Like we're seeing it right now with Lenny Hochstein. We've seen it. I've seen it with my parents in the past. We've seen it, right? But I was under the impression that he actually cheated on her while she was married to him and they were living in a happy home. And
I was under that impression as well.
Yeah. If that were the case, then I would understand where she would be looking at him and being like, you are signing an infidelity clause. However, if there's not that, then I don't know why it would be so pressing to have an infidelity clause. Like, I think but that's the whole point of a prenup, right? You have infidelity clauses, you have social media clauses, you have businesses that it's a clear cut. This is what's supposed to happen. This is a contract. It's a contracted agreement between two parties who are in a relationship. If you break this contract, and you break this love bubble.
If the marriage doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
And this is something I never really understood prenups until I want to say like a few years ago, but it's just like, if it doesn't work out, you have your own stuff. Like it's okay. And you decide that before. You don't want to get into a situation. I mean, like Robyn said, I have to agree with Robyn on this a little bit. I can't believe it. Robyn and Teddy, I should never have agree with in the same sentence as either one of those names. But when she said we didn't have money to fight over before, and if, now that money is involved, I can only imagine what that would be like if God forbid it ever happens. I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Money's like the root of all evil.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
All right, guys. Well, with that, Jason, did we miss anything?
No, I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode. And speaking of great episodes, we have another great episode of Hot Messy Podcast dropping tomorrow. We have the video version of what time does that premiere? 12:30 p.m.?
I think 12:30, but we jump in with Kempire he's about to embark on a royal journey. So to find out what that royal journey looks like, you have to listen or watch the podcast tomorrow. We also talk about Miami and why it's our favorite franchise and other shows we're into, and a conversation you just don't want to miss, because I think there are some BravoCon stories we've never told that got thrown in there.
Yes. Did you pin that link in the live chat?
It is pinned in the live chat.
Yeah, so guys, go over to Hot Messy Podcast on YouTube. Click on the link for this video. This is the thumbnail. Make sure you smash that like button and set your notifications, and join us tomorrow in the live chat for the video, because we will be there chatting with all of you guys at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, which is 9:30 a.m. Pacific. I can never keep up with this. I love your podcast. It's a great listen, and I can't wait for
Thanks,
Kempire.
Tess.
Hey, thank you, Tess. My gosh, guys, this is going to be a busy week. We have Jason's mom, who was supposed to be flying in on Thursday. Now we're hearing, because there are snowstorms coming, we had to just change her flight to Wednesday.
And she got bumped up to first class.
She got bumped up to. I've never flown first class. I swear, the moms get the treatment when they come.
Well, you know, like how some airlines they try to like, okay, if you know a storm or something is coming, where like they're already saying Thursday, DC airports, New York, it's going to be shite, you know. So like if you change it early, sometimes they give you like, oh, well, you can go to first class if you want. So she got
we
lucky.
should just start booking our flights and then change them early.
No, change them late.
Oh,
or change them
early.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah,
okay,
early.
All right.
Okay,
guys. So lots going on, and then of course, Jason and I will be doing a proper. I believe we'll be doing a proper episode on Friday for Real Housewives of Miami, like a recap. Now that everybody's had time to catch up, at that point, it'll be the first 6 episodes out. The first 4 were great. I have to catch up on episode 5. It's the day after I get an implant in my mouth. So I'm probably going to be talking like this and have like a big swollen face, but that's not going to stop us.
It's not going to stop us.
It's not going to stop us. Or maybe it will, and Jason will be on here by himself. I'm not sure, but we'll all right.
Well, I think everyone has covered the first 4 episodes. You know, 5 just happened, which was great. I think we can just cover 6.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to go back and watch it.
Oh, really quickly, great recommendation, because actually Kempire recommended the show to me. It's called Riches on Amazon. Really good. That's why I didn't sleep last night.
Really?
I just kept going and go. It's good. Like you have to start it and catch up.
Okay.
It's good.
Yep.
And it
Okay.
takes place in my favorite city in the world, London.
I thought you were going to say Miami.
Yeah. How do I feel about Miami? I don't think.
Okay. All right. We love you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Happy
We have
holidays.
multi-records dropping. Bye.